What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. OG here, and we are going over shooting in UFL. The mechanics, how the defense plays into it, the goalkeepers, the satisfaction or lack thereof on all the different types of goals that you can score in UFL. It is all extremely important because goals are the heart of all football games. Now, if you haven't watched the eFootball shooting video, I strongly recommend you watch it, even if you don't play eFootball, because the way the shooting systems work in each of the three major games, right? eFootball, UFL, FC, play a huge part into the game itself, where the game stands overall as far as popularity goes, and the satisfaction that you get from goals is a huge part of all of this. The more you understand that, the better you can make decisions in the future as far as which football games you want to put your time into, which football games you enjoy the most, and you will understand why you enjoy these games or why these games get boring to you over time, right? Because sometimes we'll be playing and then we just can't get into it anymore and we can't understand why. I'm not talking about the content side or anything off the pitch, lack of modes, stuff like that. I'm talking about on the pitch, playing the game. Even though we love football, sometimes we can't put our finger on why the game just doesn't do it for us after a while. And shooting is a big part of it. Now, the unfortunate thing that eFootball and UFL have in common is they both don't have a dynamic shooting system. It is a simple power up, aim your shot, and that's it. Obviously, you can take a chip shot, finesse shot, stuff like that. That's, of course, in all football games. I will say eFootball has like the dipping shot, the rising shot, stuff like that, but that's AI triggered. You can't choose any of that, which I love the details that they have, and I know it's far too many types of shots to add to, the controller to put the commands on, but I don't like so much AI control in the game, even though the animations are pretty cool when they come off. UFL doesn't have any of that, and they also, like I said, don't have that dynamic shooting system like FC where you can not only turn on precision shooting, but you also have green time shooting. So you can see in UFL where they are lacking in their shooting mechanics. Similar to eFootball, but they have a unique issue where the glitches in the game transfer as well to shooting. So I can explain. When you are at certain angles, even if realistically they would be goals, you can all but guarantee the goalkeeper will save the ball. And then in other angles, the goalkeeper will almost always miss the ball. Similar to having a one-time shot or a two-touch shot, because they have the one-time shooting skill and snapshot, which is take a touch and shoot. Two-touch shooting, right? So when you shoot both of those, the goalkeeper is more inclined to miss the ball just because it's an animation-based system, right? So when you're going in at certain angles, you almost don't even want to shoot, even if, like I said, realistically you would shoot in those spots because the goalkeeper is just going to do the same old parry away save. That is because the game has all these broken mechanics in it, and what Strikers did is add these certain animations with the goal of making the game flow more, but it actually makes the game more boring because it is so redundant. Therefore, if they want to add skill, which they absolutely need, not just in shooting, but in several areas, they'd have to do something similar to what I suggested with eFootball, which is come up with a power-up system where you might be able to hit a sweet spot and then you strike the ball perfectly. Or, depending on how far off, you will either go more wide, higher, because you had more power on it. Whatever the case is, they need to add something as simple as a sweet spot, or they can get as detailed as they want with it, similar to FC. Maybe a manual shooting system where as you're powering up, you're actually aiming the shot. So when it comes off, it will go exactly where you aimed it. This adds a certain amount of difficulty to shooting, and the better you do, which means the more work you put in, the more goals you'll score. That is the point of a football game or any type of competitive game, to add skill so that players who are better at those different skills will be better in those areas of the game. Shooting, like I said, is the heart of football. It needs to have a level of difficulty. When it's so simple, like power up, point this way, power up, point that way, it gets boring quick. And besides the system itself, Strikers needs to remove any type of animation-based shooting that they put in the game. What I mean by that is those angles that the goalie always saves and parries it the same way, or those angles that are pretty much always a goal, they need to remove that. It needs to be based on the player and how he takes each shot. Not, oh, this player's shooting one time, that's going to be a goal. This player has snapshots, so he's going to touch, shoot, that's going to be a goal. Oh, this player is coming at that specific angle. Nope, the goalkeeper is going to save it. No matter what you do in these certain scenarios, you are going to either score or miss for certain. There is no variation in these situations. So what happens is you get these low skill, low level rats that don't even try to actually play football. They just go for the 100% goals every single time. Now I get it. Why would you go for any other shot if you knew they were going to get saved? That's exactly why UFL as a whole is broken. It's not just the shooting mechanics or lack thereof, similar to eFootball. It is everything, and shooting is not void of the glitchy nonsense that festers UFL and is the reason why so many rats flock to this game, because you don't have to have skill, because it isn't football that you play when you turn on UFL. That's the whole problem. Like I always say, there is skill in playing UFL, but it's more like skill knowing which glitches opponents are going to use, skill in knowing how to avoid those glitches, or if you're a low-level loser rat, skill in utilizing those glitches to win a football game without playing any football. I just don't want to deceive you into thinking like if they add a precision type of shooting, or like I said, a sweet spot power-up type of shooting, or just something to make the shooting more skill-based and dynamic, that would fix all the issues, because they have far more problems. It is the case, though, that a lack of any type of dynamic shooting adds to the issues. Not to mention the animations from both the goalkeeper and the shooters are very redundant. Like I said earlier, there's a certain shot that gets saved every single time, and the goalkeeper makes the exact same parry save every single time. The finesse shot mechanics are the exact same for every player. There's not really any player IDs even to make the shots look different. A chip shot is the same for every player. Finesse shot, like I said, same for every player. Low driven, all of it. It's the same for every player. Goalkeeper, diving saves, same for every shot. That gets absolutely boring. And even, like I said, it sounds weird, but if you're a football player, you know what I mean. Even when the ball hits the net, it doesn't have that satisfying feeling. It's not realistic at all. It almost just hits the net, again, air quotations, but just dies after that. There's no ripple effect. There's no anything. It's just severely lacking as far as the shooting system goes. Severely lacking all the way around. I'd honestly give it a D-, whereas, let's say, eFootball, I give them a C-. So, not very good on either fronts. We will be covering in the next video the one shooting system that does do it right, and that is EAFC. Now, why do they do it right? Stay tuned to the next video and you will find out. Hopefully you like this. If you did, please leave a like. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and join my Discord. The link is in the YouTube bio. We have a fantastic community and we would love for you to join us. See you on the next one. Peace.